I'm here with Mike Grant, the intern behind the glass in an undisclosed location. A lot to catch up on. LSU recruiting back at it again. Talk a little bit of week one. A lot going on. Mike, how's the family? How are the kids?
Kids are good. One of the pups actually ran up the street today and almost got smoked by a car. But other than that, they're all healthy. And we're
Happens.
talking about poodles.
Of course, poodles. Grant, no one asked, but how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, just cruising along,
Cruising.
cruising through the
Cruising.
week.
All right.
Tavion or Tavon Galloway, pull up
Hit
his
it.
profile there.
Yeah, while you're pulling that up, hit us up on Twitter at Pot of Gold, at Gold Mike. I think at the moment we're currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. So if you want to do that, hop into the live show, throw your questions in the chat, and we'll get after it and kind of chop it up with the boys here. Obviously, you won't hear that for this one if you're listening on the pod, but start thinking about it. Tuesday's been the night for the last couple days, but we'll keep everyone in the loop. But yeah, Tavion Galloway, a
Four-star. Big
four
dog.
a little bit of a four-star commit from Mike. Where'd you say he was from?
I thought it was
Chili,
Chili Coach. You give it a whack.
Chillicothe. I like it.
Chillicothe. Chillicothe, Ohio. This is a big time player, dude. So this is a kid that's been recruited from Mike Denbrock for some time now, which is kind of crazy because he's only a junior. So he's not in this next class. He's in the class 2024, which is
We're on,
again hard to like wrap your mind around.
yeah, we're on record not really caring about 2024 at the moment, but
No, but this dude seems like he's all in. Like he really really wants to play for Denbrock. I think he was a big like Cincinnati type of guy. Very athletic tight end. Kind of reminds me of like a Jimmy Graham situation, just like that receiver, big bodied kid. He's going to keep growing, as a great frame. Very athletic. Is a really big basketball player. Had offers from pretty much everybody. I know it was between us and Michigan for a while. But he wants to come down south and play for Mike Denbrock and Brian Kelly, another big time pass catcher. So pretty excited about that, man. Offensive talent is going to be pretty plentiful.
yeah, I mean, obviously it's always a good thing to grab some four-star guys. Nationally, it looks like he's in that top 150, maybe just outside of that, with obviously some football left to play in his high school career to work himself up in there. But like you said, it seems like a guy who's excited to be here and will probably be one of those guys who probably doesn't get enough credit once we get around to this class because he will have been committed for so long. But at the same time, it's like a guy who, if you go back and watch some Cincinnati stuff, you can definitely tell Denbrock has a way of working tight ends into the offense. So it's nice to stack up at that position.
Absolutely. They always seem to find a way to really utilize their talent. But they definitely have like prototypes that they want in their offense. And it's fun to be able to see them target those prototypes and actually reel them in. While we're talking about this, Grant, go ahead and get on Twitter and post a link to the YouTube page. We have a couple people hitting up my Twitter right now asking for the link.
Yeah,
So
I can. Yeah, if you want to keep talking, I can.
yeah, get
Yeah,
after that. What was our next pod point? I think we were talking. I think we had a
That-
couple
it,
points.
I think kind of where you're looking at is all SEC teams and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I know a lot of the preseason awards started getting tossed around. I think Mason Smith, BJ Ojolari, um, Ali Gay. I mean, basically our entire defensive line minus Jaqueline Roy, which was kind of crazy because I guess they can't give him to everybody because Roy is somebody that is looked at to be, a highly drafted defensive tackle coming out this season. So pretty much our entire defensive line is preseason all SEC. A lot of guys on the award watch list. Obviously, for top receiver, Keishawn Butte enters the season as the leader in that doghouse or clubhouse. I wouldn't say doghouse. I think he's clawed his way out of that to this point. But also, we have kind of a curveball here. The Hound, Micah Baskerville, coming in as a Butkus Award watch list member. which I guess I'll kind of backtrack there a tad, Lloyd. Uh, I don't think the Butkus Award watch list is pretty much anybody that can like go downhill and hit hard. It's not really like a ton of dudes that are absolutely lights out dogs at that position. Just because I think that position's kind of been watered down and they just kind of look for the big teams. And it's like, all right, who's been traditionally okay? Who's got some tackles from last season? And we'll throw them on this list. But there's really like 5 dudes that actually have a chance. Why is there a vintage Pam Anderson picks tab open?
Somebody was looking at Grant.
Somebody caught you, Grant. So is Grant gone? I think he's
No,
gone.
he hit himself like a good.
Somebody caught the Pam Anderson vintage tab.
I can't lie. Immediately when the screen share went up, I looked and saw what tabs and what favorites and stuff what was up.
So that's a gift card to Boom Top PP.
Say that, but yeah, it came in on Twitch. Actually, it looks like, right? Was that Twitch? Yeah, look at that. If you're on,
read that. What's that name? Go back. Boom P.
All right, enough of that. But yeah, you're on Twitch. You have Amazon Prime. Why don't you throw the boys your free Amazon Prime sub?
What's up? So yeah,
I was trying to get links and stuff, so I don't know exactly where you were at, Mike.
I was talking about basically our entire defensive line being part of that preseason All SEC team for defense, as well as BJ Ojolari, Keishon Butte, and a curveball here with the Hound, Micah Baskerville, being up for the Butkus Award watch list. And I went into detail about how like the Butkus Award, it's awesome, but it's really like there's only like 3 or 4 dudes, maybe 5 at the most, that would actually be considered, and everybody else just had like a decent tackle stat from the year before. So it is whatever. I know a lot of people are kind of questioning it because they're like, wait, Mike Jones and Greg Penn looked like they were the top 2 guys in spring. But then Baskerville is up for the Butkus Award watch list. Interesting.
Stuff always kind of pops up, and it doesn't happen to your school every year, so you miss it maybe, but there's always a couple in there that's like, oh, like these people aren't locked in. Like they may be locked into their school, but in general, they're probably not locked in.
Right. And listen, nothing against Baskerville. I think Greg Penn has been dude, I keep getting distracted by these pop-ups here.
Well,
give me some
to fight through it.
Best LSU pod out there, Son of Reeves 7. Tight, dude. Love it.
Remember, we got podcast listeners, so we can't be, we can't be slowing the show down all the time.
I know. I'm conscientious about that. That's why I'm thinking about when I'm reading down there. I'm just gonna have to just spitball it. Made it in, boys. Thanks for the link, Kyle Messling. Dude, just keep these chats like on the right scrolling instead of popping up, because I feel like I'm gonna miss something really good and it's distracting.
Then people will know that there's not that many chats coming through, Mike. Come on, this is like streaming 101 here.
All right. Where were we? We're talking about Baskerville. I think Greg Penn is a dog, and I think that he came out of spring being one of those guys that looks like the starter at linebacker, opposite Mike Jones. Mike Jones is a leader of the defense. He's a leader on the team. There's a reason why they took him to SEC Media Day. He is a really good representative of this team and this defense. So I think Mike Jones pretty much has a spot locked. Greg Penn looked like he understood Greg House and what he was wanting to do. But at the same time, Baskerville was kind of in a doghouse. Grant, are you still here?
Grant, the private chat in our streaming software here, like, guys, I'm still here, just chilling. Don't worry. Like, guys, guess what, Grant? We weren't fucking worried.
Well, I saw you were muting me and unmuting me, and I was just.
We know you're there. We know you're there.
I still wanted to hear you in my headphones, so that's why I was seeing if that toggle would work. But like, actually, I think this is a great question that's coming through. Mike Jones, just Mike Jones.
I can't see it because Grant's got the private chat up. I can't see it.
Oh my God. All right. Well, the question, I'll read it
for
you.
Mike Jones gets 18.
Mike Jones gets 18 ? From Son of Reeves on Twitch. Once again, if you're on Twitch, Amazon Twitch Prime.
You think Son of Reeves 7 is a number 7 guy or an 18 guy?
Or he was the 7th son of Reeves. It's really it could go anyway.
I think that's Donkey in his picture. So Mike Jones 18, I could see that. I could see him
be fair, I hadn't thought of it until like this moment, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I could, yeah. I mean, they say
Miles.
Baskerville's kind of been in a doghouse.
Oh.
Yeah,
And so I don't think if Baskerville was not in the doghouse, I think 18 would look like a traditional Baskerville number. Like, hey, here's a guy that's worked his way through 4 or 5 years in the program. He's been slow and steady, and now he's going to come on his senior year and be a star, whatever. Probably not going to happen. Mike Jones is the leader of that defense. 18 looks good at linebacker. Greg Penn looks great in 30. I really like 30 in the defense there. Allie Gay, 18. Kyle with the facts.
And we have both of them. You know, little defense 18. Why not?
Kyle, you're popping in pretty quick there. Is it already assigned to him? I didn't miss that news, right? That's just a prediction.
I think he's just predicting that. I think we would have someone in here would have seen it from the hours on Twitter that we spend.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know, dude. I've been golfing in Carolina, hiking, rafting, Dave Matthews. Yeah, I'll rub it in. No, but yeah, so I think BJ Ojulari, he's a single digit. I think we have a couple single digits
he's
on the
8.
line. He's 8. Mason Smith is 0.
Gay is 11. I guess that's not 2 single digits.
Gay's 11, but yeah, I could see Gay being 18.
Or Jeray Jenkins. That could be someone.
Jeray Jenkins with 18. I mean, no. Baskerville gives me Duke Riley vibe from Lamar Stevens.
I hope.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what we were saying. Like somebody that kind of pays his dues, sticks with the program for all the years he's here. Jay Ward, 18. Yeah.
I guess as time has kind of gone on, I find that like I give less of a shit about like all these numbers and stuff. Like obviously I think the traditions are cool. But like there was a time where I was really worked up on who was going to get these numbers, and now it's just like, yeah, you know, they'll figure it out. I feel like Ed kind of did us a little dirty when Ed was just like, yeah, I'm just going to pass out. What was the wide receiver's name? Come on, somebody. He was the transfer.
18.
Yeah,
oh, no, you're talking about Giles with 7.
Giles, yeah, it's like once that happened, like that kind of just like scarred me from like, okay, give me 2 weeks and I'll see, and then I'll start cheering for the guy. Like there's a lot of guys that, and it's cool to be sitting here talking about it. I think that kind of goes into the Brian Kelly culture of everything that's happened. Is people in the chat have named multiple 3, 4, 5 people, and each time it's popped up, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like that's an 18.
So Jay Ward being 18 would be a wild card because I mean, like a DB running around out there at 18. We saw it with Brandon Taylor. It was really tight. Brandon Taylor was like that stout safety that kind of reminds you of like a modern day linebacker in a sense. Jay Ward's a little guy, but he's a hawk, dude. He'll run you down and fucking knock your head off. So him having 18 would be kind of like a weird thing to see flying around. But he keeps shooting that shit.
Sorry, I just realized that like Grant was like, "Hey, what should we change the title to?" And then we never changed the title. It just says
still SEC Media Days.
Media Day.
Oh my god!
No, I changed it. I changed it to the date today, but it must not be showing.
You know what's going to happen here is we're about to lose all of our podcast listeners, and they're all going to go to YouTube though, because they're going to be like, "We have to see, like, what is this? Are they? What are they talking about?"
All right,
I think for those people.
I changed it to Media Days, so now we're good. Speaking of media days, like I feel like there's more to talk about, and we'll get in it. John Emery, a sneaky pick at 18. I think that's a good point. I don't think it'll happen. I think it has to probably be someone who's been a little bit more productive, but I think that's a good take. Is John Emery a sneaky 18 pick? Guy who stuck it out through academic issues. I don't remember where I was going. I got lost in the chat, Mike.
I'm telling you, the chat is a double-edged sword right now. Like the chat's great for our YouTube people, but for our Spotify and podcast listeners, dude, they're sitting back being like, I need to get on this action now. Look at Hugh G Rection. He got me, dude. Hugh G, dude. The boner police. He got me. Big time ball energy tonight. I love it.
Like, yeah, Miles Brennan, 18 with the clipboard. I feel like we're gonna have to like Amsterdam all these like people popping in the chat. Like I feel like we're gonna have to segment and have our podcast for like at least 45 minutes and then we get
Right,
one.
but we also just can't read out every single like these are all great comments, and I want to keep reading about like we can't stop and keep reading these out.
Relinquish control. Like my hands are off. Grant, I'm looking at you. Like you're running the chat now.
If you see a solid one, but the problem is like they're all going to be solid.
Yeah,
So
Brennan 18 with the clipboard is
that's
ending.
hilarious. Miles Brennan's not playing. I hope to God I can't go that far. I'm already on the whole like I don't want Brennan to play.
Yeah, see, Boomtown gets it. He says you're gonna have to have Grant moderate it. Love you guys, but it's rough. Pretty much.
Oh shit! Who said that?
I don't know. Boomtown on Twitter. Just hit that on Twitch. All right, where are we at? Let's dig in. I'm
Dial it in here. Dial it in here.
what I was going to say, I remember before I got lost in the chat, is you watch SEC Media Days and you're like, oh, yeah, this is kind of bullshit, whatever, but it's kind of cool. I watched a little bit of like ACC and Big Ten Media Days, and it looks like they're at like the Sheraton Inn and the lights are like dim. And it's just like, I'm like, oh, okay, it's different. Like it actually does. The whole bullshit, like it means more SEC stuff is like legit, like just from this small thing right here.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Our media day, dude, I listened to it the whole week on Sirius Radio. It was pretty cool hearing all the interviews through everybody. I know that Georgia, Kirby Smart had some issues with talking about what happened with him. He went and blabbered about kids getting paid, and then Shannon Sharp went off on him.
I don't know. I didn't see the whole Shannon Sharp stuff, but I did think it was weird. I think it was with Josh Pate where he was talking about like the downfalls of NIL and the what could the problems with it. And he was like, I got 95 guys with NIL deals. It's like, what? You got 10 walk-ons that are fucking cashing? Like, is that what's happening?
Pate was saying this?
No, Pate was. It was just the interview with Josh Pate, but
Right.
what's his Kirby said he had 95 players on his team that had NIL deals. I was like, don't you have 85 scholarships? Like, what do you mean? How is this everyone fucking getting paid?
What is this, LSU baseball?
Yeah, what is this? You can't recruit.
Pate was saying that pretty soon with the TV rights deals, every player can get 40 grand a year. All 85 scholarship players a year.
Yeah,
which comes out to like 3 point something million. And he's like, these deals are about to be 100 million plus per school.
True, but the problem is it kind of reminds me of the UFC when like the UFC just let people have like Condom Depot on their trunks and like literally any advertising like you could possibly come up with was
vintage Pam.
Was what UFC guys would rock on their gear. And then they signed this deal with Reebok and they're like, oh yeah, you get like 10 grand a fight now. And these dudes are like, wait, I had beef jerky on my balls and I was getting 100K like a month ago. What are you talking about? Like I kind of see like once you've opened these NIL floodgates, and I know it sounds crazy and people may not agree with me, but like to a lot of these guys that are reaping the benefits of these NIL, like 40,000 a year is bullshit. Like it's nothing. Like Miles Brennan's got that in fucking ice chest in his back of his truck right now.
Dude, I can't imagine being like entering college with 40K just to kind of just fucking spend.
Yeah, just be like, you guys, you want to go to Izzo's?
Yeah.
Let's
buy the place on me.
Yeah. Literally, you would feel like you had to like pay for everyone's everything because like no one else has money and you're just like cashing checks for riding the bench and selling ice chests.
Do you think that? Do you think, dude, turn that logo around. We're not sponsored by those people.
Yeah, no. Hold it tight.
Do you think there's like a hierarchy? Like, do you think Butte feels like he has to pay for everything with the wide receivers?
About like paying for things like hierarchy. I feel like we're gonna talk a little bit about this with the Jaden Daniels.
I was gonna say, let's get into that. Might as well
transition into that. I think there's definitely like a hierarchy of how these guys feel and what they're placing their own value on, if that makes sense. Like I think that I think Besh had a good answer at the media day saying it hasn't been talked about, and I can agree with that. It's very possible that he's being honest with that. But I also think that all these guys are sitting in their fucking space shuttle chairs with their iPads coming out of the wherever, and they're looking around the room like, I should be paid more than that guy. I should be getting paid more than that guy. Miles
Well, they
Brennan.
value Izzo's, so I mean, Kayshawn's paying for that.
Yeah, but and to an extent, yeah, I feel like guys like Kayshawn are probably like, yeah, man, I got this roly poly, I got this pita pit this afternoon, and you know, probably doesn't matter when Daddy Gordon's on the payroll, but I don't know.
Jaden Daniels brings out the squad to California for a nice little summer vacay for the week. The intern will not silence us, dude. I fucking he got me again. Huge erection got me again.
I know. I've been looking at that one for a while. I had to click it.
Yeah. See, I don't see this. Like you guys can see it. I
Oh yeah,
only see it when I'm talking, and it just fucking shoots across the screen, and I'm just like, oh, what's that?
I think you could see the chats.
I
was
can't.
able to I was able to see the
Let-
chats last time.
Oh,
Can
I
we-
see it now.
that's
My screen's been
Yeah.
exploded. My screen's been exploded, expanded. Jaden Daniels brings the Goon Squad out to California to train. Please explain this to me. Like I read articles about this. Like, is this a camp that he brought them to, or did he start a tradition of bringing kids to Cal? They're like, oh, the QB week or something. I'm like, wait, did he name this event with his buddies?
You've heard of the Elite 11? Yeah, Trent Dilfer's a bitch.
No, I'm not kidding. It was something like that. It's like the elite quarterback California camp. It was just him.
To be 100% honest with you, I saw it, or read it, I kind of glanced at who was there, and then I kind of just moved on. So I don't know exactly. I like hopefully maybe Grant can hop in here and give us a little more detail about what that was, because I just kind of moved on and was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I wonder what that means. Like, is that everyone gonna
If
go?
Grant knew, he'd already be cutting you off.
I got nothing.
Yeah. No, but Besh, okay, so the top receivers go out there, they hang out in California with Jaden Daniels. Some people tried to make it like dramatic and was like, oh, Jaden's got a leg up now on Nussmeier and Miles Brennan. Yeah, I mean, you would, if he's getting a leg up, like, what are they not hanging out at all until this trip?
Well,
It's like, hey, they finally get one-on-one time. Like, what are they dating? Like,
yeah,
they can't hang out with him unless they fucking go to California?
yeah. Well, Booty only follows Jaden Daniels on Instagram. I don't know if you know that, Mike.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's a big.
Now you are being sarcastic there, but that is a big deal.
It's as much as I hate to say that it is and agree with you, like saying that in jest, there is 100% a big deal. 100%. Like I 1,000% agree that there is something up to that. And Bootie's like, I think I'd rather this guy. But at the same time, I sit there, these are the conversations I have with myself at like 1:30 in the morning when I'm taking the dog out and no one can sleep in my house. And I'm just like, wouldn't Booty want Nussmeier, who's just probably gonna fucking launch it up? And I guess you could throw the same for Brennan in there, but it's like this dude's probably just gonna like laser lock on me and like give it up. Whereas Daniels might like Booty will be open, turns, looks for the ball, and Daniels is already like running.
Listen, dude, if Jaden Daniels can turn the corner and actually compete at a high level in the SEC, let the dog loose. Like I'm all for it. And here's the deal.
It could be fun. I'm in.
It could be sick. It could be like, finally, we've got that like dynamic playmaker at quarterback, and he can throw the ball. Not finally, with fucking Joe Burrow, but
George. Okay, yeah.
We had fucking Burrow, dude. But I don't know, dude. Like, there's something about him that we don't know just yet. Dude, Huge is trying hard right now. He just wrote a paragraph that hit my like right periph, and I'm not fucking looking at it. I'm not looking at it. But I guess he did. He established. He won.
We'll stack some of these and we'll go through them towards the end. So if you want to post some comments in there, fire them in, and at the end we're just gonna shoot the shit and maybe talk about some of the stuff we missed.
Yeah, chill out, Huge.
Hugh, it's Hugh.
Hugh G. That's right. No, but I think here's the deal. It doesn't matter who these receivers want, right? At the end of the day, and listen, we're putting this in their mouths. Like we're shoving this in their mouth. They have not
Bash went to California to catch some balls doesn't mean he's like voting for Trump, you
Right,
know?
that's what I'm saying, like, we're sitting
Yeah.
here saying
No,
that just because they took a trip to California on their last week of vacation before they go to camp, it means that, like, they fucking hate Nussmeier. It's like, no, but at the same time, who gives a shit? We've
but
got Sloan, we've got Denbrock, we've got Kelly to make that decision, and these cats aren't making a decision based on who paid for their plane ticket to the beach. Like,
and
they wanna win.
I agree with all of that. And I can also be very excited that Jaden Daniels took the initiative. This isn't like it was a scheduled function and all these coaches set this thing up and they're like, hey guys, go out here. Like this is seems like it was player driven. I don't know whose idea it was originally, but they got it together, got it worked out to I guess it's cool to fly across the country to do this stuff when you can do it at home. But either way, like they're getting the reps in. Like it shows me that Jaden Daniels is at least going into fall camp saying like I'm not going to look back and say I wish I would have done this or I wish I would have done this. Like I'm building as much chemistry with these guys as humanly possible to give myself the best chance to be the starter for LSU against Florida State.
Dude, 100%. And also at the same time, like the one person we don't see doing this is Brennan. And I don't want to like just sit here and say that if he just isn't one of like the social media guys. Like maybe he's just like, oh, because I'm not posting about every time I throw the ball with Kayshawn, that means we don't have a relationship. Like I don't want to be that guy. But
Right.
it's like the world we live in now where all you see is fucking Nussmeier hanging with the boys all the time, throwing passes, dancing in the locker room,
He's Baker Mayfield.
reposting stuff all over Instagram, like, and then Jaden Daniels taking trips. Like, I don't know, man. It kind of seems like those two are competing a lot harder to win this job. And really, the only thing Brennan is sitting back doing, it's not him. It's just his like fanboys beating their chests, like, no, he's paid his dues. He needs 18.
As a reformed person, that is exactly as you're describing. I'm with you. Like I agree with you because that's how I felt. And it's like I've just had enough of like seeing the pictures on the back of the truck, like trying to get you to buy a Yeti. And like I'm not knocking it. Like I respect it.
No, Yeti's a good product.
Go grind. He's Arctic, so let's not get too crazy with that, Mike. But it's like I've just seen one too many of them to be like super stoked about it. And I think Brian Kelly even mentioned this. Like it would be great. Like I would be super excited if Miles Brennan was the guy that stepped up and became the quarterback and had this kind of great season to push LSU over, maybe get 10 wins in this transition year and blah, 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 whatever storybook you want to write for Miles Brennan. And I'm just sitting back like, yeah, I'm not going to put any eggs in that basket. Like, I hope it happens. Great. I'm not betting any of my stack on that.
I was reading some people predicting like, no, dude, we're not going to get too crazy the first game. We're going under center with Brennan, and we're just milking that clock. And I read that, and it had so many upvotes, it scared me half to death. I was like, do people really one want this,
Dude, that
and
is
two think that's going to happen?
it's the mentality that we've been beaten into for the last like 2 decades, Mike. It's that LSU under Les Miles and Orgeron were just gonna go out there and not wow anyone. They were just gonna control the game, get out with a victory, and move on. And I'm not saying Brian Kelly's a gunslinger, Mike Gundy, Lane Kiffin gonna go for it on fourth down 1,000 times, but it's like there's just more of a plan and an operation going into everything on what we're gonna do. And it's like I don't know if you feel confident enough in LSU's offensive line to go out there, get under center, and start bullying people. Fuck it, I'm in. Like
Dude, we're not pussyfooting around
I
right
know
out the gate.
I've
What
been
do
the
we wait
my
for?
entire life, but like, dude, if we want to line up with an extra tight end and just like absolutely destroy people, I'm in. Sign me up. Let's do
No,
it.
but and that's fine. I just don't think like I feel like we did that with Les and at times with Ed before we actually had a good quarterback out of necessity because we
Yeah,
couldn't do anything else. We can do something else. We can come out guns blazing. We have a great quarterback coach. We have a great OC. We have a great head coach that's going to prepare us for this first game, prepare us for this season to repair this program. So I don't think right out of the gates we're going to quote unquote play it safe and go under center with Brennan. And it's like, for what? To wait a couple more weeks to have a few more practices so you can unleash it at Auburn? Like, what sense does that make?
Well, and it's like, once again, it's like, what if you're LSU and your offense, what is your strength? Your strength is your wide receivers. It's your skill position. It's not, it could be your running backs room, but like going into fall camp, going into week 1, you don't know that it's your running backs. You don't know that it's your offensive line. The offensive line hadn't proven anything to anybody. And it's like, I don't know. If anything, it's like, hey, we're just gonna run zone reads and throw quick like wide receiver screens because we don't trust our offensive line. Like, that's more likely to me than getting under center.
Yeah. When do you think we know who our quarterback is?
I think half like a week or two before the game. I think we find out.
Like in 2 weeks?
And no, I think we're closer to a month out. Like, we're at 40 days, right?
I think
Grant?
so. I mean, I know they have like the week off right now, and I think they report next week, Grant.
But I mean, we're sitting here, what is it, July 26th-ish today?
Next week?
Just
No,
look
I
it
don't
up.
know.
Just
play-
just look it up.
We play September 3rd, September 4th, one of those 2 days. So a month and a week.
Yeah, I think we're halfway, like at the halfway point. You're saying halfway point of fall camp. You think we will have a guy named?
I think before the Florida State week, we will know who the starting quarterback. A couple days before the end of that week, like leading into game prep week, I think we will know. I think everyone in the building has a good idea right now. I think everyone in the building will know within the first 4 practices.
That's what I was going to say. I think we'll know soon. I think it'll be like the second week of fall camp. I think people are going to be like, okay, like Nussmeier or Jaden Daniels, whoever it is taking snaps with the ones more than the other. But at the same time, I guess we wouldn't really see that. They're not letting the media in. And I'm sure the players aren't going to come out and be like, yeah, so Nuss had 17 snaps. Like they're not counting that. But they get a vibe, but they know not to like share that vibe.
So, like last year, they started on the 5th or the 6th of August. So I'd imagine it's around the same.
What? No, okay, that's fine. Good job. Thank you, Grant. Where we go next?
Doc Holliday just entered the chat.
Who's that?
I don't know. I think he's from Tombstone.
The GOAT.
Who played him? That wasn't Val Kilmer, right?
Yeah, the
Val
GOAT.
Kilmer was Doc.
Yeah.
Have you seen Val lately?
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not good.
Gun.
You what?
I saw Top Gun.
Yeah, but he was okay in Top Gun, right?
Was he?
I can't remember.
First one. I'm not talking about the first one. I'm talking about the one they had to write in where he can't talk.
Very true. Very true. He kind of looked like a Steven Tyler mixed with like Stephen Hawking's.
Yeah, us too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as LSU football stuff goes, that was really the hot topics coming into it. Was the preseason All SEC team, some of the award watch list guys. It's good to see LSU getting some of that recognition coming into the year. We've always had the players, though. Yeah, a lot of people are jumping on board with Brian Kelly and his quote unquote enhanced structure. So that's really nice to see that some of the outside world, the outside media guys are going to be paying attention to that. I went ahead and figured out the Barstool app loophole. I was able to place bets here in North Carolina. I went ahead.
Put the bets
in. Wait, what?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I only put one in though.
Guys, I've been.
Wait, what's the loophole? They're not listening.
Getting Big Mike to put in his bets. It's not a loophole. He's not doing some James Bond.
It's a loophole. I'd log out of the app and he logs in from Louisiana. It's a loophole.
So I have a long drive with old Mike Sr. tomorrow.
Where are you going with my dad?
Yeah, what the?
Going down to Grand Isle tomorrow.
I can't wait. Like, there's gonna be a story. There's gonna be a moment. There's gonna be a text message.
How many lawns are y'all going to be yelling at people to get off of?
Where Michael's
going to hoping I don't get a speeding ticket.
Michael is gonna text and he's gonna be so pissed that his dad put in the wrong bet. Like, just be ready.
No, no,
Uh,
I've logged in. I checked it. I confirmed it. We're
So
good to go.
I
so
know, but
I'm gonna check with him tomorrow and be like, "Hey, Mike told me to look into the bets. Let me see your phone real quick."
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna like give away my password and everything.
yeah, he's
Dude, talking him through this was
I was amazed when you said
super
that.
hard. And I'm not talking like placing the bet. I'm talking like downloading the app. Like, oh no, all I'm seeing is DraftKings. I don't see anything about Barstool Sportsbook.
app store.
Yeah,
Oh,
no lie. It was
God.
like that. He's like, now they're asking to track. I don't know what to do here. I'm out of here. They're gonna get all my data. I was like, Dad, I've done this. I'm on this app. It's
I
mine.
mean,
Wow.
he is right.
So did you Venmo him?
No, I placed everything. And then when you go to hit like
Oh,
submit,
he just put the bet
he
in.
just
Yeah,
logged in
yeah.
and hit submit because it kept my bet slip. He just
Yeah.
logged in and hit submit.
Damn. So you just put your 20 grand in your account and then he just put half of that on the game.
Yes.
It this kind of reminds me, we after the pod on Thursday, whenever we recorded the last pod, we started talking about week 1 bets. Grant's asking about team totals and like, should I bet this now? How much should you bet? How much are we betting on the Florida State game? And it hit me, and it fucking hit me that we're the Sunday game, and like, yeah,
You're
that's
gonna parlay that shit.
literally every bet I make on Saturday will be just a 2 or 3 team parlay with LSU. So it's like if things go right on Saturday, we're gonna just potentially have a couple $100 to win a couple $1,000. And it's like on Saturday, I'm gonna tell myself, be like, guys, well, I mean, like, if this happened, I'll just bet $150 on Florida State money line, and like, we're gravy. Worst case scenario, we come out even. But like, I know, I completely know that I will just like be itching for that action, and I'm just gonna be like just sweating my balls off because I'm gonna have LSU money line and LSU -3 and LSU over tied with like 37 bets. And then we're going to be in the Superdome and I'm going to be trying to live bet to get a better line and the internet's going to suck. Like I have played this entire scenario out in my head a million times.
I'm not fucking with the app when we're in the dome.
Best case scenario is like I lose everything on Saturday and I have no bets and I can just bet like $100 on LSU and move on.
That's a bet.
No, I know, but like it's like worst case / best case scenario is like, yeah, we have like $300 to win like 18 2 grand.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. What are you foreseeing yourself parlaying it with?
Everything. I don't know. You want to pull up week 1 schedule right now. Let's fucking go through it. I'm in.
I do like Utah -2 or whatever it is.
Steve, like there's a point coming up and I've dipped my toe in it. I've kind of dipped my toe into the Florida State waters. But there's a time coming up where it's going to be like 2.5, 3 weeks of me doing nothing but just listening to like college football podcasts and like individual team podcasts. Like, oh, what's Oregon up to? Like, what are the Miami podcasts doing? What are these podcasts?
I'll give you this.
I get the itch, and then once season starts, I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking good. I'm just gonna.
I'll give you this. Go to 247 and they have a good write-up on Florida State by position group, like each position. I read that one. It's pretty good. Like as far as ranking their position groups going into the season, they break down the players and they tag the recruiting profiles. Dude, they're like across the board, all 3-star prospects, and they lost a lot of guys. Like it looks like one of those deals with Florida State where it's almost like we're going in playing against like a TCU, or honestly, it reminded me a lot like walking in last season against UCLA for the opener. Like it's a very similar type of team.
Yes, I completely agree. It has that feel. Like I'm starting to get that feel that LSU is just going to beat the brakes off Florida State, and it's going to be a little like it's not going to be as real as we think it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. Like we were supposed to do that for UCLA, and like it was so bad and so embarrassing last year against UCLA that we fired our coach. You know, like that was like the last fucking straw. And I feel like this is what should happen. The opposite should happen this season. It should be the exact reverse, where we come in and you're supposed to beat Florida State. You're supposed to be on top of their game, and just blow them out the water. That's what we should do. And honestly, all things, you know, trending in the right direction this offseason, let's ride that momentum. Big hire, big offseason, big transfers. Let's get a big win right out the gate. I think it's very possible.
Yeah, and I remember us talking about going into that UCLA game about how it's going to be concerning if we get pushed around at the line of scrimmage by UCLA. It's going to be concerning if we're not like handling our business and beating them handily. And obviously, we all know how that went. They, you know, lost and didn't look good. And Ed Orgeron was out 6, 7 weeks later. But it's like I have that same feel as we're starting to look, and as I'm starting, I watched some stupid like a Florida State fan YouTube video about like how like their linebackers were really slow, like covering running backs and everything. And I was just sitting there like, oh my god, yes, like give it to me. And it's like I'm so confident. And I feel so good about going into this game and being able to really take care of business, even if it's a little misleading as to what LSU season's going to be. Like I still think if LSU's that 8, 9-ish win team in the SEC, I still think that's a team that handles Florida State to open the season.
All right, I'm gonna say this, and I want you to tell me after I'm done. Who am I?
Okay, read.
Lamar Stevens says, "Do you guys talk about getting picked 5th in the West?" Question mark. Let me tell you something, Lamar. Let me tell you something about getting picked 5th in the West. These guys don't know. These guys don't know that whenever you pick us last, second to last, third to last, hell, you pick us second, we're coming after you. We're coming out the gates hungry. Brian Kelly's going to have these guys licking their chops being predicted 5th in the West. No, Lamar, we did not talk about that yet, but we're about to. Who was that?
Lamar?
No,
I don't want to say.
Okay, but you got it, right?
I know exactly where you were going with that.
Okay, just making sure.
Um,
Making sure we're on the same page. Dude, it's tough to do Pate. It's tough to do Pate.
It is. He's not but his head's so shiny.
I thought y'all liked Pate.
I love Pate, dude. That's a joke.
Pate's legit. Yeah, Grant, just take yourself off screen, dude. You don't get the show. I can't get worked up. Like, I mean, I just sit here and think about like all these teams around the SEC and the Kentucky. I think Kentucky was maybe picked second in the East.
I think Tennessee. Was it Kentucky or Tennessee?
Whatever it was, it's like I don't know enough about that school to sit here and like argue with you over 2, 3, 4. And it's like I look around at all these teams, like there's no reason for all these media members, these Kentucky guys, these Missouri guys to sit there and be like, well, fuck. I mean, LSU's gonna be sick this year. Like, have you seen Malik Neighbors? Have you seen Brian Thomas? Like, there's no.
Have you seen fucking media members? They don't know shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's no reason for these guys not to be like, well, Bama, well, A&M, well,
yeah,
Arkansas. You know, Arkansas, I think, is the team on there that's probably going to be way like the discrepancy of what they were picked preseason to what they finished will be like the biggest gap. But like I said, man, I'm really excited. I think that there is a decent, a legitimate average possibility that LSU rolls into the Bama game undefeated. Like, I don't know that that's likely.
Listen, and Boom Tap, he said it right there in the chat here.
Yeah,
we're 12-13 the past few years. We deserve this preseason nonsense. Now, I understand we don't deserve. I think this team should be coming into the year. Me subjectively sitting back and knowing what I know, I think it's fair to put them 3rd, 4th at worst going into the season. 5th, that's just an accumulation of, like you just said, that's 12-13 the past 2 seasons. That's people that have not dug into our roster. That's people that are not going to care that much because it's the first year of Brian Kelly. Why would we go all out and making this prediction for a team that's really not going to win the conference or go to the playoffs yet? So let's just throw them right in the middle of the pack or towards the bottom. Yeah, I understand that, and that's fair on their part. I just think that we should be we should be right there behind Bama. I understand A&M being hyped up, so I'll give them that. I think we're neck and neck with Arkansas as far as my actual opinion going into the year.
Yeah, I think LSU should be third on this list. I think Texas A&M deserves the. I guess. I
It's
guess
tough.
third.
It's tough to say they deserve anything, but yeah,
They don't deserve anything. But like, kind of looking at preseason roster and like everything going in, I understand why Texas A&M is in that spot. I guess would be a better way to put it.
they beat Bama last year. They almost made the playoffs. They had the #1 recruiting class of all time, and they returned nearly their entire defense. Like I get,
know.
it's an SEC team. Like you gotta respect that.
I know everyone is liking Arkansas and everyone thinks you know, Pittman's awesome. I think it was the Josh Pate interview again. I listened to it and he was like, "Yeah, you know, you got to give these coaches like 2 weeks off or they don't do anything." And I'm just like, "Do you?" Like, we're in the fucking SEC, bro. It's like, go play intramurals, brother. Like, if you don't want to fucking recruit 54 weeks out of the year, if you don't want to recruit every week and then some every day, and I think Brian Kelly's learning that. I think it was a hot topic on media days and some of the other stuff from Notre Dame players about how like Brian Kelly wasn't as interactive and everything with this stuff. Like, recruiting is everything in the SEC, and that turned me off. I was like, okay, I'm kind of out. Like, I get it. It is cool to say that you want to give your boys, your coaches, a time off and family and some things bigger than sports. But it's like when you're getting paid $9 million to fucking do it in the SEC, some things aren't bigger than sports.
True, but it is Arkansas. So I
but
think
that's I would never put them at 3 at that spot. Like, if you're Arkansas that we grew up with outside of the year or two there, here or there with neck brace boy, like outside of that, when you're Arkansas and you're the 5th, 6th, 7th team in the conference every year, sure, let the boys go fishing.
Yeah. Don't you feel like Ole Miss is way more dangerous than the other 2 schools above them?
I do, but
Ole Miss, dangerous team in the world.
If you go back and watch Jackson Dart in the spring game, and I understand he had just gotten there like maybe 2 weeks before that, it's not pretty. And listen, last year Kiffin had a sick offense, but Matt Corral was a hell of a quarterback. Yeah. Matt Corral was somebody that had been in that program for a while. He was a 5-star quarterback coming out of high school. And Kiffin knows what to do with quarterbacks, but it takes some time. They had growing pains. I think Ole Miss is going to have a little more growing. Like, the more I look into Ole Miss, the more it's like, I don't know if they're going to be as dangerous as they were last year. But they could, absolutely. I think that they could be more dangerous than Arkansas. I think Arkansas has a phenomenal quarterback, but I also think their defense got kind of depleted, and I think we had something to do with that by taking 2 of their best defensive backs. So I don't see Arkansas, being as good as last season, but they're still going to be a good team. And I think because of that, from the outside perspective, people that are not big time LSU fans, I get where the ranking is. I understand that. Do I agree with it? No. I think we should be higher, but I understand why we're there. We have to earn it.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's like, what am I going to do? Sit here and call you an idiot for picking the team that's literally like 500 since winning a national championship, picking them to lose some SEC games? Like, once again, man, I think LSU is going to be closer to that #2 spot than they will be number 5, 6, or 7. So we'll see how the season plays out.
Adam Bland says, speaking of Pate, top 10 in national roster talent. National champion has never been below top 15. Just saying the Tigers have a chance. Look, the Tigers always have a chance. LSU always has a chance. Would I put money on that right now? No.
You don't.
That's just
I got $5 on it.
Yeah. Grant has 5 on it.
Congrats. Look,
I got 5 on it.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, literally everyone was.
I couldn't find that button fast enough.
Yeah, it's okay. We got the Cypress Hill buttons on a different board. But like, and like, you don't get brownie points for doing this or anything, but like, it is extremely impressive that LSU is still lingering around that top 15 talent in the country with the amount of people that have left, with the amount of players that have moved on and become pro in something other than sports. I think LSU, will this be a transition year? Most likely. I think, will it impress and surprise a lot of people from the outside looking in who once again, just kind of want to make fun of LSU for being a little bit of a joke and getting their shot every few years. Like, we'll see, man. Like, I think they're going to surprise people.
You know what's going to suck in a couple years, and I know the tide's going to change, and we're going to be okay. But like
Li- Like
Jacoby
Crimson
Matthews at
Tide?
A&M, what?
You said
you,
the tide's going to change.
we
Yeah,
thought you were predicting Saban's death. That's all.
I predict that every year,
Every year,
every year.
every year.
How is it going to happen?
No, I just hopefully on the field. Like I want to witness it
But is
because
it
Voting
you're in the medical
Boating accident.
boating accident? Jesus,
You know
what but boating accident? How? Like, how does he actually? What is the what does the coroner say?
It's basically it's a Auburn Harvey Updike.
Someone runs over his boat.
Correct. On a
It's
jet ski.
trauma. It's trauma, brain
No.
swelling.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. That's the only way the devil goes out.
It puts me in such a I think about this more than I probably should. But it's like we're gonna have to send out some bullshit tweet about like how like he changed the program and like Saban did a lot for LSU, blah blah blah. What a huge loss college football's had. All the whole time I'm just gonna be Joker grinning like ear to fucking ear.
We should paint ourselves as the Joker.
Somebody,
Little sass.
somebody put a list out of who gets the next statue because Pete Maravich got a statue, and at
Sure.
the last one it was like number 5 or number 7 or something, and it was Nick, Les, and Ed statues.
I mean,
Bro.
Burrow, right?
Yeah,
well, he was at the top. It was
Okay.
Simone Augustus, Burrow.
if you want to throw Simone on, look, if you want to throw a bone to Simone and throw a statue up, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Don't throw anything at Simone.
Joe Burrow should be the only person left that gets a statue because we're getting to the point where it's like, guys, we have too many fucking statues. Okay?
I mean, physically, don't throw anything at Simone. She can have a statue, just don't hurt her. But where I was going with this about the recruits was it's going to really suck when you have Jacoby Matthews at A&M. You've got is it Jacob Matthews? I get those two mixed up because of the names, but I think Jacob Matthews is the 5-star defensive back out of Woodlawn that doesn't even have us in his Final Four, and he's about to make a decision. And then you got Derek Williams, the 5-star safety out of Westgate, going to Texas. Like, we're going to be in the SEC in a couple years, and our like top DBU 5-stars out of a couple years in a row are going to be in every other school. Like, they didn't even go all together to Bama. They're just like littered across the SEC West. That's going to be very infuriating.
Yeah,
I know the tide's changing. I know we will get back, and it's going to take some time to do that. But going and watching Jacob Matthews' highlights recently, and then seeing like all this coverage that he's getting, like, oh, this Woodlawn cat out of Louisiana, defensive back, one of the best corners in the country, out of the state of Louisiana, where they just breed these kids. It's like, wow, he's not even considering us. It's not even a thing. And it's not a Bama race. It's like, yeah, Bama's in there, but it's like, it's not even like, oh, well, we lost to Nick Saban. It's like, no, we got fucking Arkansas looking at him. He might go to Texas with the other cat. And it just sucks, man.
Yeah, we're gonna watch a lot of SEC games that probably have a decent amount of something on the line, and we're gonna see plays being made by just like LA guy. What are you complaining about, Mike?
No, I'm mumbling to Lamar.
Oh.
He said Louisiana's going to put out DBs and wide receivers every year. Don't sweat it. I know. But I want them all. Like, I love the tradition of laying in my bed and like scrolling through my phone and looking. It's that nightcap, dude. It's the nightcap of going from like all the years past, all the classes on 3 or 247 and being like, we got that cat, or Greedy Williams turned into a dog, and like every single year, like these Louisiana dogs that wear purple and gold and turn into stars. And then you cringe when you have a Landon Collins, like, or a Jansen Jackson that you watch in high school and you're like, that's going to be a fucking dog. And then they go to another SEC school, become that dog. And it's just tough, dude. I get it. We're gonna have another one and another one, and every single year we're gonna keep spitting them out. But it's it's always the ones that get away that you just keep imagining in purple and gold, and you're like, damn, that'd be sweet.
I saw something this week that Patrick Surtain is the one that allowed Joe Burrow's roster spot. Did y'all know that?
I did not know that, but I don't.
Like, he was the last guy
How true
that
is that?
Well, it was obviously on Voldemort, but it was Patrick Surtain was like that last guy we thought was going to be in the count at 25 back when rosters really mattered. And when he didn't, we left 4, and then that'll
Right.
absolutely
I heard it was a night before deal. Like I was listening to Jordy, and they were talking about how Surtain in that school, it was the high school out in Florida where we're not allowed to go in there anymore, and it had a lot to do with some situation, but Surtain was one of those situations as well. And something happened, and we're not allowed back in that school, but it was like the night before something flipped. Apparently he was all LSU until that night, and something happened. But so I don't know if that spot freed up Burrow.
A little Zach Wilson action, like was
well,
that
I think
owning mom?
What's his mom's friend's name again?
I don't know. I'd like to look into that.
Like to look into that.
But to go back onto the recruits a little bit, I saw today on Twitter it was like let's show some Noel Devine highlights, and it just there was so much nostalgia of me being like, we're 1,000% getting this fucking guy.
Was Noel Devine was that the cat from Carr?
No, I think he was like
no, I'm thinking of Noel Ellis. I'm thinking Noel
He was
Ellis.
from Miami or something.
Yeah, he was prime time
Fort Myers.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I know who you're talking about now. I think he went to West Virginia, right?
Yeah. See, and it just brought me back to a simpler time of like, and maybe this is just because we were younger, or maybe it's just because like nowadays, like everyone knows what's happening before it happens. But there was just such a great feeling of like seeing someone like that and be like, well, we fucking recruit Miami. Why wouldn't he want to come to LSU? And then you watch his highlight film and you're like, he's definitely like, you just completely talk yourself into like, this dude's coming to LSU. And then it's like, I'm going to West Virginia, like not even close.
I mean, dude, he had the best highlight tape after that's Reggie Bush. Like,
yeah, he's got a Reggie Bush, like an Allen Iverson type, like Sam McGuffey. Like,
I was about to say he's no Sam McGuffey though.
No one's a Sam.
Oh, dude, remember he jumped over that guy?
Literally everyone remembers he jumped over. That's the only thing. Fortunately,
remember when Joe Burrow threw that ball?
Remember when he threw 60 touchdowns?
Yeah, I don't know. That just brought me back to like such a fun time of like reading rivals.com when there was nothing else, and you would just scroll top 100s, and literally just if LSU was on the list at like 5% or something, you were like, well, I've played enough dynasties on varsity mode to know that I can swing this guy. And you just like, dumb 15-year-old me was just convinced that we were getting literally everyone.
Lamar just said that his son is a 4-star recruit this year. Not Lamar's son, but
how about Noel Devine?
Noel Devine. No way.
There's no way.
There's no way. I know Jai Eugene.
Yeah, Jai Eugene, my guy, stays high.
Noel Devine was younger than us, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Not that matters, but I mean, like, this kid's already a fucking grown high school kid.
Yeah, Jai Eugene used to bring the kid who's like the star recruit now to like class with him. Virginia offers Andre.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Andre Devine.
Imagine just getting after it that young.
I mean, yeah, imagine like you're cranking out these highlight videos, you have a kid, and that kid turns out to be just as much of a dog as you. Not really. Like, this kid's only a 4-star. But I mean, Noel Devine coming out of high school was the dog. But that is crazy.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but Noel Devine is just one of those guys that felt like he was like one of the first guys to go viral. It was like one of the first times that like all your boys had seen the Noel Devine tape on the YouTube.
Yeah, you wouldn't be remiss to see him, like, his name pop up in like a rap like a rap album or
Right,
something.
exactly. Like he was like somewhat pop culturally relevant in that like small window of time. And like I said, maybe we're just like complete idiots that like at 16 years old, LSU football and recruiting was the only like was
No, I think you could drop the Noel Divine line on like Pardon My Take, and they'd be like, yeah, we used
yeah.
to watch those videos. But I think it's also his name too. He's got a cool name.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Sam McGuffey, same thing.
Yeah.
It's like if his
Um,
Drew
Lake
Mike,
Sistrunk, dude.
like, dude, the
That
guy
was so I think Noel Divine's highlights were better. It's tough. I mean, that's a really they were splitting hairs, but Lake Sistrunk was the guy that I believed. I never really believed we were getting Divine. I thought we were locked in on Lake Sistrunk.
everyone did. I think everyone kind of was like, well, I mean, obviously he's gonna come here.
And I called him Lachey for like 3 years.
You know, Nick was still popular around that time. You know, great.
Lachey Sistrunk, dude, we're getting that cat. Yeah, it was on Tiger Droppings. It was on the recruiting board. Like
Yeah.
somebody was his high school classmate in Texas. Do you
Memphis
remember that?
Memphis Tiger. That was his
What
name.
was it?
Memphis
Memphis Tiger? Was
uh,
he the Lake Sistrunk situation? Yeah. And dude,
email.
we would just follow. He's like, oh, he's in the hallway. He's wearing the socks.
Yeah, that dude and I would email all the time because at that time I think I worked for the team. And so it was like, hey, you know something, I know something, when in reality, like neither of us really probably knew anything. But it was one of those like, you know, couple 18-year-olds talking to how they're, you know,
I
the
do
next.
remember this.
And so yeah, I used to get all those updates.
Yeah, and he went to Auburn.
Yeah, maybe I'm trying to think. Maybe it was different because feel like
And
he
he
was the
sucked.
dude that went to Texas A&M, who I think played basketball. What was his name?
Kid that
You
went
know,
to A&M.
I think he went to Baylor. Who was the kid from? I don't know. We're going
No,
down.
wait, did Sistrunk go to Baylor?
Yeah, Lake Seastrunk went
He
to Baylor for a moment
Yeah.
He did go
at
to Baylor. Who went to Auburn?
in Oregon, Baylor. You're thinking of
No, dude, I think Sistrunk was high on Auburn for a while, and I think
There was a receiver that went to Auburn.
no, I know Trevon Reed did.
Reed.
Reed
yeah,
was another. Reed was one that we lost to Auburn that I was really pissed about.
but I feel like Auburn did get one of those like transfers that's like, oh, this dude's gonna be so good, almost like the guy at TCU
Maybe
now.
Lake.
Yeah,
Wish we had an intern to look this up. I
yeah,
think
if we had,
I think Lake maybe transferred to Auburn or
I have it.
transferred from Auburn to Baylor. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. Read it.
let's just read his early years, honestly. Oregon, then Baylor. That's it.
Oregon then Baylor. So no
Yeah,
Auburn.
we went to Oregon to start. Because once again, like at this point in time, Oregon, like I thought Oregon was the best program that's ever graced. Like Chip Kelly was the messiah.
Oregon is very Lake Sistrunk is very Oregon like 2010.
Imagine
Or-
Russell to Oregon. Dude
Yeah,
would.
I mean, imagine Russell Shepard anywhere but LSU.
Oh, that's fair. But like Oregon, like you thought Dennis Dixon was good.
Yeah, dude. No, poor Russ, man. Russ was a dog.
Yeah, you know, he made an NFL career for himself. What
Well,
else?
boys,
Anything
I
else
did,
on the list? We're right at an hour.
Grant, you wanted to say something?
I didn't realize Lachey Seastrunk was so good. I didn't know he had back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons.
No, I mean he was still legit.
Yeah,
I thought he like folded.
What-
I thought he folded.
No, he didn't fold. He was no duck, dude. He left. He was a bear.
Anyone we're gonna sit on here for a couple more minutes. Anyone in the comments that think they want to talk about anything else or do anything else, real quick, pop them in there.
Hop him in, dude. Let's talk. Let's talk in the chat.
Yeah, hit us
Speaking
up.
of, we did that, Louisiana. Just dropping in to say a big fuck A&M. Grant Freeman.
Grant, that's why Grant couldn't look up Lake Seastrunk. He was working his ass off to get an old review to be able to run across the bottom of the screen, and I respect it.
Did you have to type that whole thing in? Or did you
No,
copy
I
it?
did absolutely didn't type this. I copied and pasted.
I just didn't know if that was why it was taking so long.
No, it's just Grant. Um, hit us up on Twitter at Pot of Gold. Pot of Gold. When to see it, Mike? I told you people were gonna be asking about the season
I'm
preview.
ready to roll with the season
Well,
preview.
so I think what we're gonna do, I think I
Oh,
don't.
sorry.
We might have to talk. We might have to put out another episode this month to hit a certain threshold of numbers. We need to put. We're in the
Isn't it
next.
like the 28th right now?
It's the 26th. We got a week. We need a couple numbies. Unless the people listen to this, like literally just download like 10 episodes and just like keep them rolling. You want to
Season
do
preview.
these LSU season preview? I think is coming up like this week, next week ish. There's a guest that I think now that we can trust the restream, I think we're gonna get in here. Then we're gonna do a college football preview after that, and I think obviously we're gonna have some week 1 betting and everything else that goes with that. But like I think coming up in the next couple weeks here, we're like these season previews are happening, and then football's here. Like we're done.
Lots of golf and baseball talk too.
Lamar does say that it was peak rape Baylor. I just want to throw that in there. That's a point that we really need to include.
Literally the height of rapey Baylor.
What was that Oakman? Was it
Sean
Sean
Oakman?
Oakman?
Yeah.
The big transformer looking guy?
The off the bus guy.
Yeah. When is the season preview? Like Brett just said, man, we're gonna look at recording that hopefully next. Brett, do you want to do the college football season preview or just focus on LSU?
I don't want to get an LSU one out there. Like I'm so excited about LSU football, and I think that gives us an extra week or two. It gives me that like week to just listen to like every college football podcast and not just see what Coach Jordy Collada has on his show this week.
So you do want to do the full college next?
No, I want to do LSU first.
Okay.
Personally. That's
Yeah,
just
let's
me.
do that.
That's just me.
I'm down for whatever. I've got my Lindy's magazine ready to roll.
Yeah. Let's just
Boom Tap says don't make this on Restream. Make sure the preview is a podcast. Yeah, we'll see.
Everything we do here will be posted to the podcast. Yeah. That's literally the only place that we're monetized or anything like that.
No, but I think what he's saying is like, you guys need to fucking dial it in. You guys need to be structured, and I want some good conversation. I don't want none of this lollygag, getting used to it.
100%. I agree. I think
it's not going to happen, Boom, unless we're in person, unless Mike moves back to Mandeville. Unless Mike moves back to Mandeville, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Well, we'll be fine, guys.
Yeah, well, this is just what it's gonna. I think we need to like Amsterdam it out, like the first hour or so. Like we need to not be looking at chat, not posting anything, but like have people flying stuff in there, and then at the end we'll just start like ripping off anything we missed or people wanted to talk about.
No, I think there should definitely be certain points of the podcast where we stop. And if we have got a chunk, a nice solid slab of meat sitting on that doggle, we'll roll through it and we'll read them out. And like you said, dude, if it's not too many, we'll just wait till the end of the show and we'll read out some comments. But listen, I think this episode here much improved from the last time we did Restream.
I think we killed it. I think we did get lost in the chat for like 5 minutes. I think it was a very quick, like 5-minute where it was a Wild West. But I think we gathered.
I couldn't see anything but the chat. That's why. I've learned my lesson. Don't enlarge the screen if we're going to be popping the chats up. So it's now I've narrowed it in. I'm good. My focus is
now we're getting more subscribers.
Can you do an LSU preview pod without knowing the starting quarterback? Yes.
We're going to
because it's just going to be longer, dude. We're just going to talk about all the scenarios about each quarterback because it's a different team with each quarterback.
Well, and I think the almost the bigger conversation to have with that whole thing is like what let's say I was right and Brian Kelly announces a quarterback 10 days before the Florida State game.
Then you'd be correct, yeah.
How many? No, what I'm saying is just like how many. I would be correct, obviously, in that scenario. How many do we have at the LSU game, at the Florida State game? Is someone already in the transfer portal? Is Miles Brennan, like our boy Lamar K. Stevens put in the chat, is he wearing 18 holding a clipboard? Like, there's just scenarios that play out with each of these guys that is interesting. A little bit of roster management on top of trying to win football games.
No, I agree. I don't think anyone's going to bail that quick. I really don't. Because I think this competition is being perceived closer in the building than it is out here.
I agree.
I think, yeah. And so I think they're going to stick that out because they're going to feel like whoever does not get the starting job at Florida State is still going to feel like they have the opportunity to overtake the starter.
Yeah, but it's got to be pretty shitty to seed number 3 by your name. Like, what if I guess Miles is kind of landlocked
What the hell
here.
is he going to do?
Yeah, I guess
Didn't y'all say that the transfers don't have to sit out anymore or something? Didn't one of y'all
They're
send
putting that into
article?
play. I did read that.
So that would benefit
Everybody that wants to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Miles is done though. Like Miles can't transfer again, right?
I don't know if this new rule has actually taken effect yet.
my guess is that he can't. Like, I think we're done here with him.
He's maxed out.
Well, I don't think he'd be able to transfer to do anything.
Well, he
Like,
was on the team
what
with
is he going
Billy
to do? Work
Cannon.
on a doctorate? Like, what are you transferring to do? You can't just transfer to play football.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not
doing something other than sports, Mike.
So just get another bachelor's going to start over.
Yeah, why not? I'd do it if I could.
Yeah, me too. Dude, I'm surrounded by like 3 campuses, and I'm just like, man, what's up? Like, I want to come hang out for a day.
Have you been on campus? Have you passed by any of the campuses yet?
Yeah, I've run through North Carolina State.
How is it? How do they look?
Yeah, how the butts?
Are they getting are they getting younger and you're just getting older?
Yeah.
Or no, they're staying the same age.
Yeah, there's a wide range of ages. We're good. We're good. It's a nice campus. I haven't ventured over to UNC yet. That's a little further down the road. Wake Forest, Duke, the whole bit.
Yeah, I don't have
mosquito man.
I'm extremely excited that we are like on the precipice. Like, we're getting up against college football season.
Precipice is the best word to use. You're right. That is the best word to use there.
Being able to spell that word.
Precipice?
Yeah, there's no way.
Not even going to try. I have Google Chrome in front of me though, so it wouldn't be that hard. Dude, finally got in the MAC game.
Let's go.
Whoa.
I will gladly help with any tips and tricks, but obviously YouTube is a way better resource than me.
Dude, the whole like, oh, don't get midnight because there's smudges. Like, it's literally just like you just wipe it off. Like, it's just smudge. Like, it's smudging.
Well, the thing is, it's like for a month, for 2 months, you're just gonna be like, oh my god, like let me microfiber cloth this screen. And then a couple months, you're just gonna be like, I don't give a fuck if it's got a scratch on it. Like, we're good.
I love the midnight color, like that deep blue. It looks really good.
Yeah, it looks sick. It's cool. Well, hopefully this worked well and everything. It seems like we had some people hanging around in the chat for a good long while, and hopefully as the season progresses, we'll start getting more
than
people.
last time, dude. More than last time. We're growing here. We're growing on. Dude, video is new to us. Obviously, we've been doing this for 5+ years on a full-blown audio platform. We're gonna have to get used to this. This is only take 2. So
I know.
We appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Keep chatting, but we're gonna block your asses out.
All right, I'm gonna hit end.
Over and out.
Over and out, boys. Love you guys.
I'm gonna hit end.
No, everybody.